BDO's greatest event is currently going on, and I am playing every single class in the game and every single spec. That's right, currently we have the Marni Fuel event going on where tagging and copying the gear of a character only costs 1 Marni Fuel. And on top of that, goated PvE buffs for almost every class in the game came out, and it has changed the entire field of PvE. A lot of classes got giga buffed and are super strong, and I'm having more fun than ever playing all of these classes. At the moment, we're almost halfway done with all the classes so far, but we're going to continue and play all of them. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly which classes I played so far, what I thought about them, and which classes are to come, and my final thoughts about which classes might be my final main and my tag after this event's done. So when this event started out, I decided we were going to go through the order of the classes based on this list you see here. And I started off with the Warrior. The first class was the Warrior, then we went to Ranger, Sorc, Berserker, Tamer, then Musa, Maywa, Valkyrie, and I wanted to do Kuno and Ninja together, Witch Wizard together, Mystic Striker together. So I went ahead and did Hash with Valkyrie. And then we did Kuno and Ninja, and then we changed up the order because I'm already a Witch main at the moment. So we went with Mystic. So next up is going to be Striker, and then we'll do Witch Wizard, and then we'll continue going down the list with Lawn, Archer, Dark Knight, Shy, Guardian, Nova, Sage, Corsair, Draconia, Musa, and Megu. Now I know Musa and Awakened Witch, Succession Guardian, they didn't get big buffs or anything, or any buffs for that matter, in this whole PvE rebalancing. But with the tier 3 add-ons out, a lot of classes feel a lot better to play because we're not restricted by the requirements of maintaining tier 3 add-ons anymore. So the playstyle either simplified or gave us more freedom to find new rotations and do more optimal rotations. So let's talk about all the classes, starting with the Warrior. So when I'm tagging a new class, I start off with the Succession and then I play the Awakening. Now, if I don't have enough skill points on the class, I will go the Awakening first just so I can get some more skill points to unlock all the skills for Succession, but usually that's how I've been doing it. And I've never played a lot of these classes. Like Succession Warrior, never touched it. I once played a Warrior in the very first season BDO had. I was a Warrior. I had an Awakening Warrior for that season, and it was really fun. My only gripe with it was that it hurt my pinky with all the shift work we had to do. But playing Succession Warrior for the first time, it was actually quite pleasant because I didn't know how the skills worked, but it was pretty easy to pick up. The rotation wasn't too difficult. The skill sets flowed together pretty well. The mobility was nice. The skills did good damage, and the AoE wasn't too bad either. I always had the impression his AoE was bad, but Shift F did work at Gyfen's, man. So he was actually a pretty strong class. But the Awakening Warrior, man, that damage was bonkers. I did not expect him to do so much damage. The modifiers on his skills are insane. So I definitely had a lot of fun on the Warrior. Then we went to Ranger. I played Succession Ranger in PvP, but it's just being a rat on RBF and stuff. So I never played her for grinding. It was the first time doing it. It took a little bit to get used to it, but once we figured it out, she's got damage, bro. She hits. Like, Succession Ranger can do work, like seriously. But her Awakening, it took the cake, man. The Awakening Ranger has immense DPS. It might be one of the top S+ in my opinion of the DPS output. Probably not the S+ in grinding and like specific rotations, but in terms of the amount of damage she can output, it's absolutely insane. I was really surprised. Day 1 was amazing. Warrior and Ranger, both of them blew my mind away. But going into day 2, I was really looking forward to Sorc. Sorc is a class that I always wanted to play, but never had a chance to. I never liked Succession Sorc. I was pretty biased against it, but I gave it an honest shot. And after we got used to the rotation and stuff, the DPS wasn't that bad. It was okay. But it still felt a little bit underwhelming, honestly, compared to like a Ranger and Warrior. And then later on, comparing her to other classes like Sorc Ninja, yeah, she's pretty underwhelming. And I understand, like, I always meme on the Sorc community for complaining about Sorc. In this situation, I think it's warranted. She does feel a bit lacking. And I played Awakening as well, and I really like the skill set of Awakening and the aesthetics of it, but it was lacking in terms of the DPS output in relation to the animations and the duration of the animations. So You know, it was nice at least understanding how Suck Sorc plays and Awakening Sorc, how the rotation works and stuff. So, you know, it was pretty cool. It was a nice experience. Then we went to Berserker. Berserker was one of our mains that carried us from like the 680s all the way to 700 plus. It was a main for quite a while this year. Like majority of this year I played Berserker because he was a low APM class, but with all the buffs that he got over the last, you know, over the last several months, when Ulukita came out, they had to buff his kit because he didn't have any down attack damage, so they gave him down attack damage and stuff. He got some more buffs during this whole PvE balancing, which was okay. More or less he played the same. The spin hits a little harder and stuff, but overall I wasn't really blown away by it, and the damage wasn't anything ridiculous. He does good damage, but it wasn't anything too crazy. Awakening, on the other hand, I was actually pleasantly surprised because it's my first time ever playing it. I always had this impression that it was a really difficult class to play, and I never gave it a shot, but I was able to pick up the grinding portion of it pretty quickly. Within an hour, we're grinding pretty efficiently, and we're doing some serious work at Hex. It was actually pretty nice. The AoEs were decent, mobility was decent, damage was decent. I mean, everything could be a little bit better in terms of like the mobility and stuff. Like you have to get used to it, mouse movement in order to be super efficient. But overall, it was a pretty decent grind. And then finally on this line, this row, we had the Tamer. So the Tamer was I don't know what to say about Tamer. I mean, like the reason I don't want to rip on it too much right now is because they have a lot of PvE buffs coming in the next Global Lab patch, and they'll do wonders for it because like the succession was quite lacking in some areas in terms of the AoE and how it worked, and they're actually fixing that. Like Shift LMB is getting a better AoE sequence. Right now, the first tick of the damage is like an AoE circle around a Tamer, whereas once it's changed, it's going to be projected outwards a bit more. So, you know, they're also getting a lot more modifiers and stuff. So yeah, I'm going to definitely revisit it. I'm not going to rip on it right now. I'll revisit it, give it another shot. Awakening was actually really nice in terms of the mobility and stuff. I never played a Tamer period, so understanding how Awakening works and stuff, it was actually pretty cool. Damage was there. She has some damage, but I feel like she could use a little bit more. It wasn't like anything absolutely crazy like Awakened Ranger, but you know, she's all right. However, I feel like the AoE is lacking. So, you know, I would like to see more buffs on her, but we'll see what PA does with her. If she gets a little bit more AoE, a little bit more damage, I think she'd actually be in a good spot because it was actually a pretty, you know, smooth class to play. It was pretty snappy, responsive, has good mobility. So, you know, all in all, it was interesting learning how Tamer works. Then we played the Maywa. So I'm always super biased for Maywa because I love the Awakening Maywa's skill animations, the particle effects. Since I started playing BDO, I always admired it. But, you know, we gave it a chance this time, like, you know, an unbiased chance playing both Succession and Awakening and comparing the two. I never liked Succession's aesthetics. I know a lot of people are big fans of Succession Maywa, but, you know, I at least understood why they're such big fans. She does phenomenal damage. The DPS output is cracked. She did a really good job. Like her burst was really nice. Personally, I still like Awakened Maywa. Awakened Maywa's AoEs are bigger. The keybinds are more comfortable to hit. I don't feel like I'm being strained using the keybinds like the WF, SF, WESE, you know, Shift F, Shift RB. Those things were like, it all flowed out well enough that it didn't feel like some of the other high APM classes I was playing. But once again, I'm really biased for Awakened Maywa. So, you know, I really enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to have to revisit her when I'm finally going to decide on which class I'm going to main and tag. Then Musa was... it's been a long time since I played Musa. I once had a seasonal Musa and that was Awakening only, and all I did was grind sulfur and got like a map piece out of it. It was okay. Like honestly, I didn't play Succession too well. I mean, comparing my rotation with someone who's been playing it for a while and who's a really experienced Musa, you know, they do the blooming cancel a lot better than me. So like I wasn't playing at full efficiency, but I can see his potential. I can see that he's a top tier DPS class. Like he has that DPS output potential, and like people say it's an easy class to play. That's because like once you get used to it and you get used to the keybinds and stuff, you can, you know, spam it a lot easier. But, you know, it'll take time for me to get there, so I didn't really put in that time for that. Now in terms of Awakening Musa, I haven't played him seriously before. I played him in a meme manner just on seasonal, running around in Sulfur Mine, right? But this is the first time I actually went to an endgame grind spot like Gyphins and actually tried out his DPS and everything. I think he has a pretty well-rounded kit. Aside from being a non-grab class, he has quite a few soft buffs and a pretty solid kit in terms of DPS. Like he was flowing well, the skills hit well, had nice AoEs and did good damage. So overall, I think Awakening was a pretty pleasant grind. In terms of like the DPS output, Succession's definitely better, but I think depending on the spot, he could perform pretty well. And then after Musa, of course, we tried out Valk and Hash. Now, Succession Valk actually shocked me in terms of how much damage she did. Like, she actually does really good damage, but the mobility isn't really, you know, my thing. Like, I'm not a huge fan of Valk's mobility in general. Like, her awakening and her Succession, something I'd have to overcome. But overall, like, it was nice getting to know her Succession kit, because Succession Valk is actually pretty rare nowadays. Her awakening was a bit easier to understand for me. Like, in terms of like her Succession, I had to just understand the R&B weave, and once I got that down, it was pretty straightforward. But in terms of her awakening kit, I was pretty surprised by the way the damage came out. I was pretty back-ended, and I think I could have played it better. I don't think I was playing it to the optimal potential, but you know, it was a pretty decent grind. She moves well, especially with the recent changes with her WF. She can book it, man. So, you know, I think she's a solid class. I think she has a solid grind potential, but her DPS certainly, it didn't feel like it was up there with some of the other top tier classes, but it was still pretty good. Maybe I just didn't play it right. Maybe experienced Awakened Valk player would be able to like kill the Gyphon without it turning, but you know, overall I had fun playing it. Then came the Hash. Now, Succession Hash, honestly, I'll admit it right now, I didn't play well. Like, his rotation was long, and while he does damage and he was doing good damage, but it was a lot of inputs, and honestly, he was more tedious to play than a Sorc Ninja. So I tried it for an hour, you know, did okay with it. I got the hang of it towards the later half of the hour, but overall, I didn't play it to its best potential. I think it was a pretty cool class, but his awakening, man, his awakening kit looks so clean. Like, I love it. His weapon looks cool. The way he moves looks cool. It feels good. And goddamn, that helicopter spin, that shift R&B. Oh my god, that damage, that damage, bro. I did not expect it. It hit really hard, and it was a lingering skill. Even like shift LMB lingers, and it's a long skill which does damage over that full duration. But that shift R&B, dude, it was legit. It was legit. I can definitely see him being a really chill grind in a lot of places, and his damage output is good. His AoE size is good. He moves well. Top contender, I must say. Hashashin, the Sand Ninja. Now, speaking of ninjas, you know, then came the Kuno and Ninja themselves. So Kuno is a class that I had for a season, but I didn't play her well. Like, I didn't put in the effort. But after these PvE buffs and actually understanding the rotation in her skill set, she was pretty clean. I know people kept coming into chat saying, oh, she's janky, her skills don't. So I'm like, did you play her recently? Like, I was using her skills. They were coming out pretty easily. It didn't feel like it was clunky. They might not be direct flows of each other, but they're quick and they're snappy. And, you know, the damage was there. She hit hard, bro. Like, if you play her right, she does work. Her awakening was easier to play and also had like that nice spin to win, shift LMB damage, and it was pretty good too. But I must say, Succession really surprised me. I was not expecting it to play as well as it did. You know, I enjoyed it. As for Ninja, I actually started with his awakening because I didn't have enough skill points for Succession, but his awakening is probably the coolest looking class ever. Like, in all of BDO, the cool factor, he has it down. Like, his skills, the way he holds his Sura katanas, man, everything just felt so satisfying, bro. He grinds well. Like, he did damage. Our boys got damage, and on top of that, he looked cool doing it too. So, you know, I was very surprised. I was very happy with how he played. But Succession's damage was legit. Like, I never was able to finish a rotation, a damage rotation, and not kill the mob. So I'd have to use my skills on the trash mobs just to complete my rotation. Like, he has a lot of damage, top tier, but of course a lot of inputs are involved. So, you know, I actually like that. I actually like that when you put in more effort, you get more out of it. But he's legit. I love it. Like, Kuno Ninja, I had a blast. I was actually really surprised. Hash too, like, Awaken Hash is definitely a top contender. I was very pleased with these guys. And then finally, we skipped over to the Mystic. And Succession Mystic was one of my mains for a very long time. And I played Awakening pretty well too. Now, Succession is lacking a little bit of damage, but those buffs are coming in Global Labs, and rightfully so. I can feel it. I can feel her potential there. Once those buffs from Global Lab come through, I think she'll be able to kill the Gyphons before their DP buff drops. I think she has that potential. Like, I could feel that there was a little bit of damage lacking. Like, you know, at best I was getting the a red Gyphon mob down to like 20% of his HP, and you know, I felt like there's just that little bit missing. So she's almost there. But of course, the thing about Succession for me is that her AoE size is a bit lacking as well. So I'd like to see that to be a little bit bigger. I don't want it to be too big to the point where, you know, it's broken, but just a little bit bigger so I can, you know, kill the trash mobs a little bit easier. So Awakening on the other hand did like phenomenal damage. You know, I don't know what I expected. Like I was able to nuke down mobs pretty damn well. Like I was surprised at how much damage she was doing, but a lot of people came into chat throughout the week telling me, hey, she's doing busted damage, she's great right now. I'm like, all right, but it's true. Like I was able to kill the mobs before they were able to turn quite a few times, and I think it just comes down to me min-maxing the rotation, just practicing. I've been off Mystic for a very long time, but overall very solid grinder. I'd be curious to take her to Thornwood and see how she does there. Anyway, that's it for the classes that I've played so far. So next up is probably going to be the Striker, the Witch Wizard, then Alon, Archer, DK, Shy, Guardian, Nova, Sage, Corsair, Dracania, Musa, and Megu. Now, of the classes that we have coming up, definitely interested in the Striker, the Wizard. I'm not a huge fan of Succession, Witch, and Wizard, but I will try to learn them and grind with them just so I can get more familiar with it. But, you know, I'm looking forward to Awakened Wizard for sure. Succession Lon, Archer. Archer was my Node War class, so, and I also tried grinding on him, and I know he was he was high APM for sure, but I'm definitely interested to trying him out. DK, I'm hearing a lot of great things about. Shy, I might just try her, but I'm not gonna upgrade her Artina Soul just because that's 10,000 Caphras and that's a lot of silver. I need those Caphras for my Nuver right now. So whatever Caphras I have, I'm pumping into Nuver pretty soon. So we'll give her a quick look, but I'm not gonna go too much of a deep dive into her changes. We're gonna take a look at the patch notes and stuff and just grind for a little bit and, you know, just revisit her skill set and stuff. But for Guardian, dude, I'm looking forward to Awaken Guardian. Now, last time there was a tag event, I did play Guardian, and Succession Guardian's damage was bonkers, and I think it's going to be even better now that the add-on changes came out. Speaking of which, I'm going to try out the Witch's grind after the add-on changes as well. So Awaken Witch, by that I mean Awaken Witch. But for Awaken Guardian, I remember trying her out at Hex and I felt her being just a little bit lacking, but I'm hearing a lot of good things about her damage, so, you know, looking forward to it. Hopefully she'll be a really good AoE grinder, and I can't wait to take her to like Thornwood. And for Nova, I really love Succession Nova. I absolutely adored it in the last tag event. Unfortunately though, it did put a strain on my pinky because I'm constantly going through the shift skills on and off. So, you know, while she is a really strong class, I'm going to revisit her just to see how her damage has changed, and she's always been a pretty strong class in that regards. But, you know, we'll give her a shot. I'm really looking forward to learning Awaken Nova though. It's been a very long time since I played her. Last time I played her was when I first leveled up a Nova years ago and played her in like Sulfur Mine, just meme grinding, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how Awaken Nova plays and just learn a little bit more about the class. When it comes to stage, I'm looking forward to both Succession and Awakening, but they're not my cup of tea. I remember playing in last tag event. It's just a moving around the way Sage's kit works for Succession. I wasn't a big fan, but I'm going to give it an honest shot and try grinding on him and learn his rotation and stuff. And for his Awakening, I'm not a fan of that constant movement and the camera turn, so we'll see. We'll give it a shot for sure, but yeah, I'm not looking forward to it too much, but I'm gonna go in with an unbiased opinion and, you know, give it a fair shot. As for Corsair, I never liked her Succession. It'll be nice to learn her Succession and how it works, but I really like her Awakening. It's such a smooth class and very satisfying class, so I'm really excited to see how the Awakening plays out. For Dracania, I never learned Succession. I'm gonna just beat my head against the wall until I learn it and learn it well. So, you know, we're gonna give it an honest shot, and I can't wait because that's one thing that always held me back. I have a really cool looking Dracania, and I always thought, you know, that would be a class that suits me, but I never gave it a shot. So looking forward to giving it a shot there. And Awakening, you know, I don't know if my hand will survive by the time we get to this class, but, you know, we'll give it a shot and see how she plays. Awakening is a really cool looking class. I love the aesthetics of her. For Musa, I'm gonna try out Succession just to see how she plays with the new add-ons. Obviously, it's a goated class and still is, whatever. But her Awakening was my favorite. I love the skill animations. Like watching J-Kun play Awakened Musa is so satisfying. The skill animations, the particle effects and stuff. So I'm really excited to play Awakened Musa again. And for Megu, I've only tried her in like lower end spots. So it'll be interesting to try out both Succession and Awakening. Succession, I never tried grinding at a higher end spot before, so it'd be interesting to see how she plays out. And her Awakening, haven't touched it, so it'd be nice to at least learn how her kit works and what her skills are and stuff. So all right, that about covers my whole serial tagging session. Overall, I've been having a pretty good time. I must say it's been very pleasant. I just recently hit my 10 black star offhand, and you know, that was 22 taps and 1 out of 22. Was, you know, glad that was over. Now I'm triple pen black star weapons. I got all my tri armors, and overall, you know, I'm pretty happy, guys. The gear is looking pretty good at this moment, and you know, I'm just going to take a little break and just enjoy all these classes, enjoy the whole tag event and the different classes, just at least learn about them. I want to get more into PvP and PvP more, so at least going on each class and understanding how they move and their kit will help me out when I'm at least facing off against them. So overall, very happy with how things are right now, and can't wait for Ator shoes to come out. I'll have a new grind to enjoy or break my head against the wall for, but you know, hey, at least it's something. So in terms of our next progression, obviously Ator shoe is going to be one, and we're going to get that to duo ASAP and then hopefully try eventually. And in terms of my other gear progression, I'm thinking about getting double narc. So the way I'm going to do that is get myself another Eye of the Rune rings. I'll convert this one, the Jatina one, into a narc, and then I'll buy the other narc. At the moment, that's the way I'm thinking, but it's still very expensive. We'll see how it goes. We'll grind for the Ator shoe and see how we feel about the whole progression of it, and see if we really want to go narcs. I'm really not interested in the debos at the moment. Maybe someday, a few months down the line, or next year or something. But at the moment, I really don't like the debos. It's a stupid grind. Like every hour, it's such a drag grinding in the debo spots. Like, you know, 1 every 3 hours, 5 hours or something in terms of the drop rate. On top of that, they cost so many cron stones to enhance that the cron stone game is a stupid game. It's a stupid system. For that alone, I don't want to engage in it. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the progress. We came a long way this year, like in terms of gear score, and even just since we started, like, you know, streaming somewhat full time since September. You know, I'm pretty happy with the progress we made, and it's been fun. So, you know, I'm gonna try to keep having fun and just enjoy the game for what it is. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please do like, comment, and subscribe, and check me out at twitch.tv/IamPansy, where I stream. And yeah, have a good one. I hope you guys are enjoying the game as well, and you know, all the best with your taps and the upcoming Calpheon ball. I'm sure they'll give us a lot of chronostones and freebies, so you know, good luck on those. Anyway, I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.